Hey, what's up, guys? So I know if you're living in recovery, you have dealt with temptations. And if you hadn't, you just lying to yourself, because we live with temptations every single day. And today we're going to give y'all some tools. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's on repeat. But we know addicts. We hard-headed. We don't listen the first 15 times. So we're finna go over it again.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Some of it's the same stuff that we talk about in every podcast, but I know y'all ain't get it the first 12 times I said it, so we finna say it again.
Yeah, they got jokes in here. That's why I'm laughing. But guys, on a serious note, we do live in a world of temptation wherever we go, and it's tough being in recovery. But there's ways to overcome this, to get through these temptations. And we got some tips on letting you know what happens if you do fall into these temptations.
Yeah, which is really easy. And
right.
I mean, we've done it. I know when we were separated and I was sober, I fell into temptation for, a few months and fell I fell back not really far, but I fell back. Regardless, I fell back. It don't matter how far.
And then it's about the company you keep too, really.
People, places, and things. Stop, y'all. I can't deal with him today. Okay, so tools to manage and overcome our temptations.
Right. So what do we got going on? And like I said, you might say, well, I've done heard this before. Well, yeah, this is, you have to get in a routine and, in your recovery and stick to it. Well, one thing, it's...
When you're in addiction, you do the same thing every day. You wake up, you chase that sack, you chase that money to get that sack, and you do it over and over again, every day. Either way, you're going to be doing the same things, but in recovery, you make it more positive things. You go volunteer. You go to your church every Wednesday. You go to church every Sunday.
Right.
Either way, it's going to be doing the same things. Right. It's just, are you waking up and chasing that sack, or are you waking up and doing your Bible reading?
Yeah, chasing that Bible. Right.
Yeah,
right.
So either way,
and that's your support system, I think, is your number one.
What, with temptations?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it is.
You have to learn to talk about these things, what's going on, get it off your chest, because if you don't, it's going to eat you up, and then you're going to use, you're going to fall.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like your coping skills are the biggest.
Your first go-to?
Yeah, because,
Well, it depends. Everybody's recovery is different.
Yeah.
Right? Some of us might be easier to talk to somebody about it, and some of us might, like for me, I can't remember things as well now. So, man, don't laugh at me. I'm just saying, I'm being honest here.
Is it drugs or old age?
Bro, it might be a little bit of both. But serious, I can remember things from when I was little, but learning new things is tough.
Yeah, it's that short-term memory.
I guess it is getting old, too, because you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that type thing, I guess. But you have to keep, the thing is, you have to keep doing the same thing. You have to keep,
you have
talking to somebody. You have to, go ahead.
You have to recondition your brain.
Right, that's right. That's what I'm trying to get out.
I got you, boo. And once you do it for so long, it becomes a habit. That becomes your new habit.
Right.
But when you first start, it's not going to be second nature to, think of your coping skills or call somebody. Your second nature in those moments is, let me go ahead and go drink. That's what you do when temptation strikes and you're an addict, or you've lived that life for so long. It's not anything to, oh yeah, I'm going to drink that beer, or okay, fine, whatever, so what? But once you change those behaviors and you do it for so long, it becomes natural almost. And that's to immediately revert to your coping skills.
You get into this routine of, and then you'll start recognizing you already should know what your triggers are, right? But it gets easier to recognize your trigger when you're tempted.
Yeah.
And it could be a person might trigger, like for you, I trigger your anger. You hit me all the time. I wish you hit me somewhere else. It's starting to get sore. But the thing, it's all about a routine.
Yeah.
Really it is. And we might keep repeating ourselves here, but it's okay. You're going to get through it. And the temptations,
that's part of it.
And the thing is, there's certain coping skills, like if I'm tempted to take a drink, there's certain skills, whether it's going to read to the Bible or whether it's talking to somebody, it like you said, it comes automatic. And then recognize your triggers it gets easier.
Yeah, to recognize.
It's like you might be 11 years in sobriety, in recovery, and still be tempted to do certain things. And it's a little bit harder to get through that temptation too, because you're like, well, I've done it for 11 years. There's nothing that can turn me back to where I've been.
Yeah, but
no, it can actually tempt you a little bit harder.
Yeah, you would be wrong. We had, I was tempted this past weekend. We went on a family trip, and there was alcohol involved, and I was like, at first, I knew there was going to be alcohol there, and it didn't really bother me beforehand.
Right. There wasn't as much as I thought there was going to be. There was actually an open bar, but nobody got even a drink. They just got a beer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the most one person I seen drink was maybe 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like nothing.
It wasn't like party, woo-woo, shirts going everywhere, people dancing.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't like that, but just the fact, just me knowing that it was available,
right.
It tempted me. Once I got there and once I saw other people, walking around drinking, I was like, you know what? And and I'll be honest with you guys, I got a beer.
It was so funny, y'all. And I told her, I was like, it's going to be nasty.
Yeah, and I took a sip and spit it out and threw the whole thing in the trash can. But
that was very dangerous, though.
It was very dangerous.
Right.
And what if it would have been something I liked?
Right. That's.
Oh, I probably
then we'd have found you over in the corner, hiding, taking another drink. You know what I'm saying?
I probably would have been sneaking and drinking. But that's where, and once I did do that, obviously I immediately felt guilty for even trying to drink it.
Right.
I felt shameful because all these people at this place, we're being introduced as, oh my gosh, they're doing so good and they have a podcast. And I'm sitting there like, I'm going to try and taste this beer.
That's another thing about temptations. If you do fall into that temptation and relapse, what are you telling the other people around you that see you, how you're doing? It's like, oh, well, I thought they were sober.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but now that's just a whole face they're putting on, a whole nother face. They just got a whole nother mask they're putting on.
I'm honest. I did try.
Right.
Thank God it was disgusting and tasted like pee. Excuse my language.
I told you, man.
It was so bad. But the point I'm trying to, what if it would have been some kind of fruity drink?
Right.
I would have messed up.
Right.
Because I did not utilize, I didn't call somebody. I didn't, use my coping mechanism, my coping skills, one that I really liked that I read about was taking a moment and breathing and really centering yourself in the moment and staying present in the moment. And I feel like if I would have done that, I would have been able to tell myself, don't walk around to that bar. Like, just don't do it.
Yeah,
you don't want it.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be nasty.
But it was hard not to, because that's where the Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper was too,
that's
though.
where the sweet tea was and everything. But, we all have those moments.
Right.
Even me, 11 years clean, I still had that temptation.
Right.
And I gave in for like a split second. Thank God it was only a split second.
Right. So you lapsed for a second. That's called a lapse. That's not an actual relapse. Right.
I didn't swallow it. I spit it out. But it still counts, though. It still counts. I'm just saying. But yes, it does still count. I take responsibility for that.
Right.
You really have to be careful, though, because even like I said, I thought I was good 11 years sober.
Right.
And turns out I'm not.
Temptation took over.
It's really strong.
Right.
Right.
And
unless you have these tools, then you're not going to make it through those temptation moments. You're going to give in. You're going to break. Because that's really all you've known, is doing those things. And you're like, oh, but, I could just do one. I could just drink one. And
but you know where that leads down to? If you get through that one, then you're going to think, well, that one didn't do any harm.
Yeah.
And, nothing happened. I can handle another one.
But
and it just progresses from there.
Yeah, it will.
And that's with any sin, and any kind of, if you have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you stay mindful of your coping skills, or you stay mindful of the routine that you have set,
or the goals.
It's easier to overcome these temptations.
Yeah, I didn't use my coping skills, you guys.
Yeah.
Bad,
and then she didn't listen to her support.
No, I didn't. He tried to tell me. He was like, "You don't want that. You don't want that."
Probably because I could already smell it.
He was like,
"No, you don't want that, man."
Yeah, but that's.
And then if you have, you have goals set too, and it could have messed up. If you'd have fell into a relapse, it would have messed up any goals you had set in place.
I mean, it could have messed up my whole life as I know it right now.
Mm-hmm.
If I really would have given in, because I was tempted in more ways than one.
Right.
I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I've told y'all before that I don't get on prescription medicine because I don't trust myself. Yeah. Well, I was tempted on that front as well. And it would have been so easy. I mean, it would have. Right. It would have been so easy to mess up and to take some pills, and nobody would have known. And I mean, it could have led down a whole awful road. I could have lost all of the things that I've become. I'm a leader. I do the podcast, and there's no way I would have been able to continue doing those things if I would have messed up. And then that would have set in emotional distress. Right.
Well, I mean, you would have lost trust of some people, because there would have been a couple people that would have known.
Well, yeah.
Because the ones that would have been missing their pills, for one thing. They're just like, hold up, it's my time to take my medicine. Where's it at? I mean, so there would have been a little bit of loss of trust right there. Man, you really did that?
Stop looking at me like that. Yes, I would have lost relationships.
And then, then there's the emotional consequences of it too.
Yeah,
because of guilt, shame, right? Mm-hmm. And this, this is the downfall of falling into your temptations. And then, your self-confidence would have plummeted.
Yeah, because
you would have lost all of that.
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, my self-confidence is a little wounded anyways, because I did take that sip.
Right.
And I actually was tempted, and I actually did fall into the temptation. I gave in to the temptation. So my self-confidence is a little wounded, because like right now I'm kind of looking at myself like, come on, like you got 11 years, dude. Like you couldn't just say no.
Yeah, it's just a drink.
Come on. Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
so
right.
And now that I think back on it, it's like, man, seriously, like you really couldn't have stopped yourself from walking over to that bar and being like, give me a beer. Instead, I could have just been like, hey, let me get some of that sweet tea over there, know? But I didn't. So, so my self-confidence is a little wounded right now, and I do feel a little bit of shame and regret. But I'm not going to stay in that place of shame and regret. I'm going to move forward. I accept what I did, I own it. I did it. I messed up. It was nobody's fault. Nobody forced me to walk over there. But I'm not going to get so emotionally distraught about it and, oh, man, I suck. I might as well just keep doing it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move forward, and it's really just shows me how much I don't want to lose everything that I've gained.
Yeah, right. So, then that too adds stress.
Yeah,
it added stress to yourself, right?
Super stressed.
which added stress onto me.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah,
you guys.
right. She affects me in all kind of ways, guys. Help me.
Back to the podcast.
You're a temptation to me. You tempt me every day to be.
Back to the podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's the next thing? What's professional help? He needs professional help.
Yeah, getting the professional help, like. If you might be in a living situation that tempts you, to do bad things. I'm just saying, like, for real, like in real life, though, you might be in that situation you think you cannot get out of, and it's just it's hard to live with somebody that's in addiction, anyways. And if you're in recovery and they're still in addiction, it's hard to that's a temptation right there.
It's a constant temptation. I've lived it. Don't do it.
Yeah, right.
Just,
and it's going to hinder you. But you can get through it, and seeking professional help, maybe some kind of counseling,
Yeah.
Can get you through this.
Well, that's what you can do when you find yourself in tempting moments or around tempting people. Again, that's why it's so important to change your people, places, and things,
Right.
because that's where your temptations come from usually. And temptations, I mean, they're really triggers. It's kind of
Right.
another word for
Right.
triggers and all that. But going to counseling regularly or therapy regularly can really help you. That's another place where you can find and learn these coping skills and stuff like that. That way, when you find yourself in a moment like that, you know what to do. Right. But I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit harder because, I mean, I know these coping skills, and I still. That's why
it hurts your self-esteem a little bit, And you feel a little shame, a little guilt about it.
But that's why.
But you don't have to live in that.
No, but that's why I really liked that one coping skill. It's being mindfulness, and you just take a minute and you just breathe and you bring yourself back to the present. And I don't know. I really wish that I would have taken that moment,
right?
And because a lot of
Played
times
the tape through. Like, what if it does taste good? Was it going to mess up?
Yeah, because, I mean...
Because eventually, it could have messed up your financial status.
Yeah. It could have...
Loss of trust.
There's a lot of side effects from giving into temptations.
Right.
One is acquiring a GDC number?
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you give into temptation so much... that it's eventually going to lead to full-blown relapse, and you may find yourself in trouble with the law. You may find yourself just having to court issues, and I mean... And
that's why it's important to have the support system, relapse prevention plan. And it's important too to celebrate your victories, celebrate the milestones, celebrate the little things, and then and keep a positive mindset, because if you come up upon something that tempts you, you're like, hold up, I'm going to lose. I'm never going to be able to make that victory again.
That's like what I'm doing right now.
Right.
I'm keeping a positive mindset, even though yes, I did give in a little bit.
Yeah, just a swallow. It didn't even go down.
Yeah, I did.
But still, I
still gave in.
Right.
But I'm staying positive about it. I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm not going to, just fall completely back just because I give in to the shame and the guilt of my mess up. But what I was going to say, though, on what you said a second ago, is the support system. They're the ones who are going to help you see the big picture of if you do, mess up, if you do, give into that temptation, your support system, your accountability team, whatever, they're the ones who are going to help you really, because right now you're only seeing in that moment. Just like me, I was only seeing in that moment. I wasn't able to take a step back and really see the big picture in that moment. And they'll help you see, look, if you do that, this could be a consequence. This could be a consequence. This could be a consequence. They'll help you see that and really help you decide on the better course to take.
Right. Well, my support team is going to say, "But you've already drank? Well, you done waited too late." They're like, "No, don't call me drunk. Don't call me high, because there's nothing I can do. I can't help you now." You know what I'm saying? That's my support team. Yeah, they're like, yeah. So I tell folks too, don't call me after the fact. Call me as soon as it tempts you. Call me as soon as you feel like you might need to use. And that's what, and then that's where I'm going to be able to be helped, because then you're already done used.
Well, yeah, I mean...
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get on you or nothing. Like, man, I can't believe... No, there's nothing I can do for you. It's not like there's nothing... I'm here for you. I love you. I'm sorry that you went through that. But next time, call me before you take that drink.
No, I mean, I get that. That's what I was going to say. Like, yes, we want you to call us first.
Right.
Or reach out to whoever your support system is or your accountability partners.
It's okay to feel like...
It's normal.
It's normal to be tempted. You're going to be tempted.
That's what I was going to say. It is a normal thing that happens in recovery. You will be tempted.
Right.
I mean, and a lot of times depending on, which I really hope it's not, but depending on your living situation, you know, the things that you do during the day, your activities that you know, involve yourself in, you may be tempted more than once, you know, in a day. Like it may be, you may be living with constant temptation.
Right.
Which only makes, you know, staying sober harder. But, call first, obviously, but if you do end up messing up, you know, don't let that be why you don't reach out. Like, call anyways. Like,
yeah,
you know,
right.
like,
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying do not call.
That's
you know,
how it sounded,
don't.
just saying.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, I did kind of come off a little harsh.
Yeah, you did.
But.
Meanie.
I'm sorry. But, you know, but still stay kind to yourself.
Yeah.
And be patient with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be tempted. And that's why we try to push, and we're still repeating ourselves, the sobriety, you know, support team, your coping skills, you know, set goals, long-term, small-term.
Utilize your
local resources or the resources you've already gotten. You know, use what you've already got. Get educated more on your
addiction.
on your addiction, because you know what's going on with you. You know, you're gonna got to, you know, you're sober now. You know what's going on. You know who you are, but stay continuously educating yourself. Do some reading, you know, look at other podcasts. I'm sure there's other podcasts out there too. You know what I'm saying? You know, watch other, you know, some more of our videos. Start helping somebody else in their recovery. That has helped me out a lot.
Isn't that one of the principles?
Once we get to that point, we take it to, you know, well, this taking God.
Be careful.
But be careful, you may fall too.
Yeah.
You know, at least you're tempted too. But you know, and celebrate your milestones, celebrate your small goals, celebrate, you know.
Well, those are the things that give you the confidence.
you can celebrate that you didn't finish that whole beer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't take another swallow, and
you know,
because I believe if you'd have been like, but it's a beer, I know what's gonna do to me regardless of how it tastes, and finish that one beer, I promise you that second one would have tasted better.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know, and you actually did, you know, subconsciously know where it was going to head to. But you knew that it would have ended up going back. You would have went back and told them to make you a drink instead of popping the top on the can.
If I'm being honest, I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah, I mean, it was there. I seen it. That was mine. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I love some liquor. You know, I never was beer's always tasted nasty to me.
I used to love beer. That's why it was so crazy to me that it was nasty.
Right, because you've changed. You're not the same person.
No, but I should not have tested myself. I should not have, because it could have ended badly.
Right.
But like you said, celebrate the small victories, because that's what it's those small victories, and really acknowledge them. It doesn't matter how small they are. That's what gives you the confidence to move forward in your recovery, because it really just praise yourself. Let yourself know that you're doing a good job.
Right.
You know, you got this.
Yeah, and you know, be proud of yourself that whether it's one day or 11 years.
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't,
because it's tough. I promise you, recovery is not easy. But the thing is, you know, we can get through this if you stay on top of your routine.
Yeah.
What's got you here is what's keeping you here.
Yeah.
You know, and this can go either way. You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting.
Yeah.
So, and that can go either way. You know, you keep messing up, you know, you keep using, you're going to keep messing up. You keep using your resources or your tools, your coping skills, you're going to keep moving forward. And then, you know, tomorrow I'm not going to be looking for the second. Tomorrow I'm going to be looking for another way to keep from going to look for that second.
Yeah.
So
it becomes habit after so long.
It really does. It does. But that doesn't mean you're not going to be tempted.
No. Right. Temptation is all around us in every form that you can think of. I mean, it's there. And I mean, if I'm being honest, the devil is just waiting for you to let down your guard.
Well, it's not only that. He knows exactly when and where and what to use to get to you.
Yeah.
And I promise you, he's going to use it.
Yeah.
So that's why we say stay in the Bible. You know, put God first. And
that one thing that I said, you know, the be mindful, breathe, and bring yourself back to the present moment, because I was way too stressed out and my mind was going 100 miles an hour to even take that moment, you know, when it presented itself to me. And I mean, that's really why I have my coping skills. I have my resources. You know, I did not use them.
Maybe it was from the outside looking in too, though. You might be put in that situation where, okay, this is family that I've pushed away. No, not really pushed away, but I knew I couldn't be around. But you grew up with this family, or you've been around these people, and you kind of felt unaccepted anyways in your life. And then, you know, you want to be a part of this family again, and you just, you know, want to do what they're doing and want to see them, you know, maybe a little bit of acceptance from them, and the temptation overwhelmed you.
I mean, that is a really good way to look at it.
I mean, it's not necessarily, maybe I could be totally wrong on it, but I could see that happening to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, just being a temptation of just wanting to be a part of what you used to be a part of.
Yeah, and feeling like if you don't do what they're doing, then you won't be accepted.
Right.
I can see that. For me, that's not what it was at all. It was just...
You just wanted something other than Dr. Pepper?
I mean, yeah. No. I mean, if I'm being honest, I have not had a beer in years, and if I'm being honest with you, I really just wanted to try it. Yeah, you know, because I mean, it was there. Which
some people can do that. Some people can have a glass of wine every now and then and be okay and not, you know, go into a binge. Yeah, you know. I'm scared to dip back into it, though. Yeah. Me personally. But that's just because I know where alcohol is going to lead me to. Yeah. You know, because that's not what I want. Yeah. That's not.
But it'll lead you to what you do want.
Definitely will lead me to
See, I liked alcohol. Right. And I like wine. Now, if there had been wine, you'd have been carrying me home. And I would have
if they'd have been smoking and doing something else, then that would have been what would have been tempted to me. You know, I might have been, hey, I'm 6 hours away from home. Yeah. This is the only time I'm going to be around it. I know I'm not going to use, you know, this is me telling my, you know, self-justifying.
It's only going to be this one time. Because I'm never around it anywhere
I ain't got to worry about taking no drug test. Let me hit that thing. Yeah. You know, and you know, and I could figure, you know, it was what you used to do, is what you like, you know, and it's tough being around stuff like that.
It is, but don't test yourself. Like I'll tell you that. Like I never should have. Now I have regret and guilt and shame from it.
It's okay.
But I mean, yeah, like I'll get through it. I'm working through it.
It's a journey. We're learning. We're still in transition. Yeah, you know,
but just don't tempt yourself. You know, just play it safe.
Right. Just don't do it. You know,
just play it safe. It can be, if I'm being honest.
You know, and you might use that one time and never touch it again ever in your life. But is it worth taking that chance?
Yeah. No,
you know,
it's
because
really not.
You've got kids now, or you've got your family back, you got your good job going, everything's going good, you're hitting all your marks on your goals. You know, there might have been some delay. You know, setting goals, there's going to be delays. Yeah. And so, but don't turn this delay into a layover. Yeah. You know, you see what I'm saying? You know, go from, you know, losing, you know, a couple of days on setting your goal to a couple of years back. Yeah, exactly. And having to start all the way back over. And that's where
it will lead. Right. You know, it'll start off real small and, oh, well, I only missed a day of work, you know, and then it'll be, oh, well, I lost my job. Oh, well, you know, I missed this month's payment on rent, you know, but I'm making it up. And then next thing you know, you've lost your house.
I got a little something on it.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, it can, I was looking for a word, but it went away. It can get out of hand very fast.
Very quick.
And before you even know it. So just temptations are all around you. You're going to be presented with temptations. Use your tools, use your resources, call somebody. Don't give in, you know?
Yeah. You know, develop healthy habits, find something else to do, you know, and just keep it in your toolbox, even if it's not something that you use on everything, you know. Yeah. You always got to have an ace in the hole.
And remember, be kind to yourself and be patient with yourself. Recovery is a very long process, and it does not happen overnight. It is going to take time, it's going to take patience, and it's going to take hard work and dedication. Right. So if you don't think you're moving as far along as you should be, just stay patient.
Just know that, you know, just because you're not as far along as what you think you should be, it's okay. As long
Progress
as you,
is progress.
Right. I'd rather take baby steps,
then jump head first and be completely overwhelmed.
As long as I'm moving forward. I don't care if
Yes.
it's big steps or baby steps.
Yes.
As long as I'm moving forward, you staying focused.
Yeah.
And staying positive. Stay focused on the positive, not the negative.
Yep. Stay educated. Check out some of our other videos. We've got plenty of info and resources. Check them out. I promise something will help you. Stop it.